So hello everybody, this is Richard Wishart. I'm down by the river in Hartford where I live, about 100 yards down the road, and I'm sitting by the riverbank, the Great Ouse, and I'm reflecting on Periscope. So I hope you can join me. It's a really nice, the birds are quite loud here, so there's quite a lot of tweeting going on. So this is the view down the river. So this is the Great Ouse. Hartford is halfway between, well, it's partway between Huntingdon and St Ives on the River Ouse. It's not actually part of Huntingdon. It used to be a village in its own right. So here's the. I'll give you a quick 360. So we have, as we wander around. And then we have Hartford Church, and we've had a really brilliant day today. Been one of the hottest days on record, I think, in July ever. So you must go outside, and if you can do this with Twitter at 8 o'clock in an evening, then that's absolutely fantastic. So, hope you're able to join me tonight. As I say, I think it's quite important at the end of, I've been experimenting on Twitter, or sorry, not on Twitter, on Periscope for the last couple of weeks. Sort of learning about the technology, what the functionality is, and the various ways you can use it. So I thought it'd be useful tonight just to have a quick reflection on that. So let's show you me. Oh, we're back. Let's try again. There we go. So this is me. I'm Richard Wishart. I'm an enterprise architect, and let's get a bit, that's it. You've got to get the light on it, it's quite important. I'm an enterprise architect. I live near Cambridge. I live in a place called Huntingdon, a village called Hartford. I'm in Hartford this evening, and it's a magnificent place to come at the end of the day, and just always quiet. Oh, hi from Alabama. It's just the way I talk. Anyway, I'm here in Hartford, near Huntingdon. I'm doing a bit of a reflection on my day on Periscope. In fact, I've been doing it now for a couple of weeks. So I'm just sort of reflecting on that. But before I do that, I'm just giving people a quick view around. So I'm down by the river. Let's sort of show you. So that's the river. Huntingdon is that way. And you can see behind me the old church, the old parish church at Hartford. Let's see. We've got the river is full of ducks and swans and geese and birds, and we've got some water meadows across the other side. Just another little bit of. Sorry, let's sit down. So it's not going to be a long one tonight because my battery is running a bit low and my energy has been such a hot day. But let's go front camera again. Because it's better looking at a nice view than it is looking at me, isn't it? So this is the River Ouse running between Huntingdon and St Ives in Cambridgeshire, and this place that we're at the moment is called Hartford. Now, you can probably tell by the accent, I'm a Scot, originally from Scotland, but I've lived here for a very long time now, so I'm almost a native. But Hartford is let me just give you a little bit of a history lesson. Why Hartford, particularly in Huntingdon, is important to someone who's of Scottish ancestry like myself. So you might have a quick history lesson. There was a lady called Isabel of Huntingdon, and she was the daughter of King David, who was one of the kings of Scotland. And he was also not just one of the kings of Scotland, he was the 8th Earl of Huntingdon. So he was actually the Earl of where I am at the moment. Now she married Isabel of Huntingdon married a guy called Robert Bruce. Now it's not the Robert Bruce that you're thinking about. This is Robert Bruce, but it's one of his ancestors. So Isabel and Robert, their great-grandson, was in fact Robert the Bruce, the famous Scot at the Battle of Bannockburn, and he was also the Earl of Huntingdon. So the links between Scotland and Huntingdon go back a very, very long way. So that's a very quick sort of history lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. The other bit about Huntingdon is because Huntingdon was a hunting lodge, and the hills behind where or not hills, Cambridge doesn't have hills, but the slight mounds behind, going up towards the back of Huntingdon, used to be a royal game park where they hunted deer. So Hartford is one of two things. One, it was either a ford where armies forded the river, and that's one meaning of Hartford. Another one, it could be harts, the deer, and how they get to across the river. We've also got the cows being herded together across the other side of the river, so that's quite interesting. You get a lot of cow noises as well. The other bit is, so that's Hartford, and Huntingdon obviously is because it's a hunting lodge for the Kings of Scotland, so that's quite interesting. Anyway, so what are my reflections on the day? That's Richard's moment of the day. Well, I've been going around, I've been doing periscoping about 2 or 3 times a day for the last couple of weeks. Thanks, it is a really good view. I've been periscoping a couple of times a day, trying to just get a feel for the functionality and the concept and the medium. Now, what I would like to talk about this evening, just very briefly, because it was an interesting thought for me today, a sort of theme, if you like, that ran through the day, was about audience. So I want to really focus the discussion this evening on audience. Now, doing some good, who are the audience that are on Periscope? Who are they? What are they? What's their sort of backgrounds? Well, my very broad assumption is that people who are used to Twitter, so they're very much into the instant part of the social media game, and they're early adopters. So this morning a friend of mine was running a social media class in Huntingdon, so I did 2 periscopes. I did one getting out of the car, going into the hotel, meeting up and having a quick chat with them before everybody arrived. That went really well, that was good. I posted that on Google Plus and LinkedIn and Twitter. And then I then did a second one, which was actually his training session. His training session was good. It was a guy called Victor Sachs, and he was doing Google Plus training for people that are not on Google Plus, so people who have tried to get on but not been able to get on. So he was doing really simple things about how to set up a profile, how to deal with. Let me bring you back to me. I feel a bit strange speaking to. Okay, so here I am. I'll leave you with this. There we go. It's amazing how if I turn that way, I go dark. If I turn that way, I go light. So let's stay in the light. let's stay in the light. So the second bit was a bit odd because he was doing Google Plus. He was doing it for beginners, absolute beginners. We had a couple of real newbies for Google Plus in the room, and Victor was helping them with how you set up your profile. So really simple stuff. But it became obvious really quite quickly that the audience were the Periscope audience that were coming on and looking at it. They were people this was too boring for them. This wasn't interesting enough, and it wasn't about Twitter, and it wasn't about Periscope. It was about Google Plus. So maybe they weren't into Google Plus. Maybe they weren't into basic training for people to how to get people on. I don't know, but it really did. It got into my brain a little bit. So I'm just sort of sharing that with you tonight. See what your thoughts are. If you can't get new people onto Periscope, I think we should be able to, because there's millions of people on Twitter. But what sort of people are we going to get on? How are we going to segment them? How are we going to make sure that our broadcasts are appropriate for a particular audience? How can we grow and grow our audience in particular niches within Periscope? I think those are the big challenges. What I'm also trying to do is grow my audience myself. In my second week, I've got now just over 100 followers, which is fantastic in just over a week. I've also got about 300 people that I'm following. I'm picking up followers and I'm following people from the actual broadcast. In the broadcast, you can go in and you can look who's following, and you can connect with them in that way. But the actual system within Periscope itself, is a little bit flawed, I think. The third button along gives you, the second, let me think. The third button along gives you a list of potential people to connect with. Now, I had a look down through them the other day, and I took a few, but wasn't really that impressed by everybody. But of course, the next day you look, it's still the same list. It doesn't move on. So today I took a little bit of a punt and actually connected with everybody in the list. It was about 2 pages, so it wasn't that many, but connected. So that'll be interesting to see how that works, because tomorrow I didn't connect, I followed. Of course you follow, you don't actually connect. So it'd be interesting to see if I get a brand new list tomorrow and see how that list is put together. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us. I didn't quite get your name. The handles on this are a bit hard as well, because they're generally your Twitter handles, which are a little bit contrived. They may be something to do with your business. It's probably not your proper name. So it's actually quite difficult, unless it's people you see regularly, to actually pick up their names. So I've got this brilliant view, and I'll give you a view as well before we finish. I'll give you another spin. I think the product Periscope is brilliant. I think hi Denise, yeah, good to hear from you. Hope you're enjoying this. I'm doing a quick broadcast from Hartford and Huntingdon, down by the river. It's a way of sort of reflecting at the end of the day of my day on Periscope. In fact, I've been on Periscope now for 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. So I'm sort of reflecting on audience. That's been the subject of what I've been talking about, actually finding your audience. Yeah, no, it is. It's very early days for Periscope, and that's what I'm trying to find out. Everybody's learning. You watch people Periscope. You see what they do. You pick up a few tricks here and there. You have a bit of a whinge about some of the functionality. Oh no, you must scope. The way to learn is to do it. Even if you mess up, everybody is messing up. I don't know anybody that hasn't messed up yet. Just get on and do it. And when you do, I'll connect with you, and I'll make sure that I'll tell people that you're tweeting or you're scoping, and you'll get an audience. The one thing that I think is a bit misleading is in the bottom. No, you shouldn't be too chicken. You should get on and do it. It really. There was a lady the other day, and I've forgotten. I'm not very good with names, but she was absolutely petrified, and she had a social media coach, who again I'm connected to as well, and she brought her on to the. She got her to scope live, and she helped her, and she did it. And the lady was absolutely petrified, but she did an absolutely brilliant job. She really just fought the fears. And once you've done, it's like learning to ride a bicycle. Sounds absolutely horrific before you do it. How am I going to sit on these 2 wheels that are turning round and round, and I'm going to fall off? Once you've done it the first time, you're off. So please do. And when you're doing it, let us know, and you'll certainly have one viewer. But don't get upset. No, on the viewer bit as well, there's a thing you've got to be aware of. On the bottom right, you get a little head count of the number of people on your scope, and it generally looks quite low, unless you're someone really brilliant who has hundreds, but mine's generally quite low. But what I find is at the end, over the whole scope, when I look at who's watched it, it's quite a large number. I've been getting about 100 people on each of my scopes, which is really reassuring. It's good. Someone's wanted to watch me. But what I think happens is that people drop in and drop out and follow you if it's interesting. You've got to keep it interesting. You've got to keep giving an update. No, it's a learning curve. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's exactly a learning curve. And it's a learning curve not just for the people watching. It's a learning curve for the people broadcasting. So I've done quite a lot of video stuff on social media. I've done taking of video, YouTube. I do Hangouts on Google+. But they're not at all like this. The medium is so different. And, you're absolutely right. Everybody's learning loads, and people are really generous. I've been very impressed by the quality of the people that I've met. I've met some, in just a week, I've met some firm friends. And the little bit about Scotland that I put in was really just to encourage the Scottish friends that I've met up with and connected with since I've been on. I've connected a lot with Scotland, with Cheshire, with North America, and with Australia. there's a really good one. If I just, oh, Glasgow here, yes, great. So this, the Periscope clan in Scotland is doing extremely well. And there's a rumour going around that there's going to be a tartan next week. So have a look out for that. And one of couple of my colleagues who I was listening to their Periscope this afternoon, they're going to be performing at Ingleston, just outside Edinburgh, I think Wednesday of next week. Somebody might correct me. So that's a definite to listen into, and it's a big one for Scottish Periscopers. Yeah, it was Liz Melville. Hi, Liz. So Liz Melville is doing the speaking, and Grant is helping her with the production, and I'm going to be in there barracking from the back seats, as they say. Yeah, so it should be good. So anyway, that was really just my reflection for today. It was audience. It's the nature of the audience. How do you find your audience? How do you nurture it? How do you get your collaborators gathered around you? And I think I'm beginning to build up a little collaboration group, a sort of tartan group around me, which is really good. Yeah, and please let's get the scoping going and the collaboration going. I believe in it. I believe in it very strongly. I think this is disruptive. I think if you said to people about I think to give you an idea how disruptive this is, if you ask people a couple of weeks ago, what social media do you do? Well, I use Twitter, or I use Google Plus, or I use LinkedIn, or I use Facebook. So they're talking about products. I think now social media is actually getting beyond that. It's almost getting to be social layer. So you'll access all your IT, all your technology, all your connections through your social media layer. And the social media layer is just getting more and more components. So don't think of it, I need to be on Twitter, I need to be on Google. For audiences, perhaps you do need to be thinking of it that way. But in terms of the technology, they're all now merging into the middle. And you're going to see another wave of evolution of the technology. And I think that's going to happen very quick. I mean, just think of this. We have a Twitter-size audience. Yeah, good. We have a Twitter-size audience, so it's a huge audience. Has picked up a thing called Periscope, where we are broadcasting video live to the world at a Twitter scale. Now that is absolutely scary. And now you're broadcasting, even professional broadcasting, is not like it was before. So I can actually, hang on, let me, just to show you that other people are enjoying themselves tonight. So this is me, I'm sitting on the riverbank and I'm watching the boats go past. And I'm watching the swans. There's a group of canoeists down at the far end, and some people having a barbecue with some Land Rovers on the other side. That's fantastic. And I'll give you a quick, well, I'll raise my Periscope and we'll have a look around. So what we got in the sights of the Periscope, we've got no submarines, we've got no Atlantic convoys, but we have got people enjoying themselves down by the river. We have this very famous parish church in Hartford down by the river. And we've got the lovely River Ouse, which is fantastic, particularly on a lovely night like this. So, good. Well, thanks everybody for joining. As I say, this is reflections at the end of a busy Periscope day, and I think it's going to be a busy Periscope week. Not much on tomorrow, although I'll try and make some stuff up. And then I'm actually doing a presentation myself at Huntingdonshire Business Network on Friday, and I'm going to ask one of my friends to Periscope me. So I can't present and Periscope, but I'll get someone to No, it's my pleasure. And I'll try and connect with as many people as I can on the call afterwards, and please connect with me. So we've got people coming past with dogs now, so I'll sign off. Thank you.